All right. Everyone see that okay? Very, very good. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Devon Isakson. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the social service supervisor for Pierce County Human Services. Very specifically, I supervise our homeless services team, which does include prevention services, as it should. I know that's been a long-running debate about whether prevention is part of homeless services, and in our human service department, it is very much labeled as such. Um, our team administers eviction prevention, legal services for eviction prevention, and then of course your typical homeless service interventions such as rapid rehousing, permanent supportive housing outreach, emergency shelter, safe parking, those types of interventions. A brief overview of how our system works and how much funding we have. So we are the lead agency, and we currently fund two providers. That's going to be the Multicultural Child and Family Hope Center, which is a buy and for organization in Pierce County, and Sharing Care House. They were a part of the original roster of folks distributing eviction prevention dollars during COVID, and they were the two that we continued to work with as the program evolved past the pandemic. In terms of funding that we have, so for July 23 to June 25, we had $7.4 million in Department of Commerce funding, and then we had some remaining ARPA, or American Rescue Plan Act, dollars in the amount of 1.3 for a total of 8.7 million. Households served, so we served almost 4,000 we've had almost 4,000 households apply since October of 2023. So similarly to Jake, we have a lot more folks applying than resources that we have available. Out of the nearly 4,611 of those households have received services to date, so year to date through 2024. How to apply, again, similar to United Way, we have an online portal, which is available in 15 languages. Folks are able to just Google Pierce County eviction prevention, Pierce County rental assistance, all those things, and that'll take you directly to our page, which does direct you to the portal, but also gives you all the information you'll need about eligibility, what documentation you need to apply, and all that necessary information. We also do a lot of in-person events for those folks that need some additional support in filling out their application. It's not the most simple application to fill out. And so and folks don't always know about the program. So we are weekly at WorkSource Pierce, as well as our District Court Resource Center. And then we rotate amongst public libraries and community events throughout the county. Our process looks like this. So our tenant receives a 14-day, 30-day, or eviction notice, which triggers them to be eligible. They apply through our eviction prevention portal. We do a lottery on the second Friday of every month. And then the following Monday, the program refers selected tenants to providers and declines those unselected tenants. I didn't talk, this isn't in the slideshow, but I want to talk a little bit about it. Even though it is a lottery, we do prioritize the folks that are applying. So we prioritize the folks with the highest vulnerabilities, those with the highest disproportionality in our system. So folks of color, LGBTQ plus folks, and we really try to make sure that those disparities are being addressed in this system. Then providers determine eligibility of those referred households. They ensure that they can actually proceed with the assistance. And at that point, the providers contact landlords of those referred, and they begin the paperwork and processing portion. The services included, and I don't have this on here, but it's very similar to Jake's presentation. So we do provide case management that includes financial counseling, budgeting, employment connections, mainstream benefits. Obviously, there's the financial assistance piece, which is up to 3 months of rental arrears. and up to 3 months of future paid each month. That sounds a little confusing, but essentially 3 months is the maximum. Relocation can be an assistance if it's in the best interest of the household and the landlord. And then the one thing that's not on the slides is that we also offer legal assistance through Tacoma Pro Bono. So we connect all the households that are not referred and are denied to Tacoma Pro Bono to see if there's any other opportunities there for them to either get on a payment plan or somehow repair that landlord-tenant relationship, whatever that looks like. We try to get them the services that they need. Those legal services are also available to those folks that have been accepted as well. So our issuance of funds, so funds are only issued to landlords and utility companies. I mean, similarly to all programs, for whatever reason, we do not entrust folks to just give them the money that they need. We we instead issue it to landlords and utility companies. The landlord, in order to receive those funds, must provide an updated lease ledger and a W-9. And then the landlords must report the income to the IRS at tax season. So after a household is denied, they may not apply again for 6 months. The reason that we implemented this is, the same thing happening in King County. We have so many people that are needing this assistance that we were getting really bottlenecked. And because we're using a prioritization tool for vulnerabilities, we wanted to give those folks with high vulnerabilities that were new coming into the system an opportunity to be chosen as well for the rental assistance. Once somebody is referred, the program notifies the household via email or notifies the household of denial. They're then emailed other resources in the community that may be able to resolve their late payments or rental arrears. So moving on to a little bit different topic, we started an eviction prevention randomized control trial in February of this year. We are very excited. We're working with 2 separate universities to legitimize prevention as an intervention point for homelessness. They're going to be evaluating 2 parts of the system, and they will be evaluating it both quantitatively and qualitatively. We're expecting our first report in early 2025, and then the final report obviously will happen at the conclusion of the analysis. So what they're going to be looking at, they're going to be looking at case management services versus financial assistance only. So does case management actually offer an additional piece of support that leads to people being more successful in the program? They're going to be looking at long-term health, financial, and education impacts on participants. And then they're also going to be looking at landlord financial stability. So the piece of the trial that they've started already is they conducted a lot of interviews with folks that were in the program during the program and after the program. And then they're also evaluating our data, which comes to us through the portal that we utilize. And again, the qualitative evaluation started in spring. We will get an interim report of that qualitative, which is the interviews this year. It's the final report of the quantitative that won't happen until 2025. And this just gives a little bit more details on what I already spoke about, which is focus groups, interviews, the connections between causes of housing instability, and then how case management impacts that. And then, of course, how that stability impacts people's well-being, health, etc. I think it will be an amazing control trial, and I'm very much looking forward to the results. I think it'll enable us to secure more funding for prevention.